This time around on Author's Corner, the name of the book, Protector of the Innocent. Dr. Clifton Hunt joins us to talk about his book here on America Tonight with me, Kate Delaney. His story is a story that is sadly far too common. And boy, what is he doing to help change that scenario? And actually, I think this book will inspire you and make you think of ways that you can reach out and help people too as well. So Dr. Hunt, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Kate.
What made you write the book? Because you really poured your heart into this book. What made you decide to tackle it?
Well, it started as a child growing up in the Chicago Housing Authority, the projects, we would call it projects. And as a child going to the public school system, going through that system is where it started. I grew up in a family with a mother who had multiple sclerosis and a father who was a janitor. And so as we struggled through those periods of time, and my mom I never saw her walk. But I experienced at a very young age some traumatic experiences because she couldn't walk and my dad was a janitor. What we experienced was we had an older cousin who, and I don't want to give away too much of the book, who sexually abused me. So that was dramatic. That's where it started. Experienced abuse as a child and even continued on into adolescence. When I became older, after finishing school, I saw those same type of symptoms in my children that I was the principal of and a classroom teacher. I saw those same hurt in their eyes when I would look at them. I knew something wasn't right.
Wow, and the hurt in their eyes, did you just know I have to figure out a way to do something?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's amazing. At one of the schools I was a principal of, a kindergarten teacher spoke a word over me. And she said, "You're going to be a mentor of millions of young men." And I started my first mentoring program. And it was so successful, there was a waiting list to get into the program. It became so successful in the district that the girls then began to come to me and they said, "Mr. Hunt," I was Mr. Hunt then, they said, "Principal Hunt, we want our program too. You spend all the time with the boys." So what I found out is the same principals I used to mentor boys worked with girls. So I started a program for the girls and had the female teachers run that program.
Wow. Hearing you talk about it and the emotion and really what you've given to the world and that somebody saw that in you and that you were able to then later in your life pursue this. And what does it mean to these kids? As you said, you could see that look in their eye. What does it mean for them to have mentors, to have somebody that can help?
It's a must in the life of a young boy, whether he's a boy of color or regardless of what his ethnic background is or social background is. Every boy needs a mentor. And the reason I say that is he needs to see what a man looks like. He needs to see a positive role model of a man and how to navigate through life's many difficult challenges that we face as men. And my hat goes off and I salute all the single mothers who have done an outstanding, excellent job in raising boys. But we as men need to partner along with those mothers to show that young man what it means to be a man. And another man is the only one who can really show him that picture.
Yeah. And we should tell everybody, Protector of the Innocent, you can get this book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I mean, you can get it Kindle version, paperback for just absolutely a song. And it's so important. And it's just what you've poured out in this book and things that maybe people don't know. I mean, physically, sexually abused, teased, bullied. You talk about all of that. What do you hope people take away from reading the book?
What I hope they take away when they look at my life story, what they should take away is that I was not the one who was predicted to be the successful child in the group. I was the one that was most likely not to be successful. But because of an Joseph anointing that was placed over my life, I watched God take me from a high school dropout to begin from a high school dropout to becoming Dr. Clifton Hunt. No one, I'm the first in my family to receive that type of a title, educational background, when I had no mentor. My father only had a 6th grade education, and my mother, she didn't finish high school. So I had no one to show me the ropes and how to navigate through that. And so what I hope people will take away from my book, regardless of your beginning, there is a plan for your life. And if you just keep following the dream, in my book, I talk a lot about the dream that pushed me. I had a desire to be a teacher, and that was the first dream, and it kept pushing me to the next level. And after being in the classroom 7 years, then I wanted to become an administrator, and it pushed me and pushed me, and it kept pushing me, and I became curriculum coordinator over 106 schools, and kept pushing me, and the dream kept pushing me until I finally finished my doctoral study after going through 2 doctoral programs. The book will bring you healing, is what my prayer is. When a person read it, they will see that there is hope, no matter what the challenges they have gone through, no matter what the hurt or pain is, there's healing for them, and they can reach the full potential and the plan that God has for their life.
Did you ever imagine, and because you had that dream and you pursued it, and wow, what an inspiration. Did you ever imagine you would have been in the classroom, which was great to begin with, then as in you're influencing and you're helping and you're teaching, and then you become a principal, and then you even go higher? Did you ever see that once you jumped into education?
No, I didn't see any of it. And that's the amazing thing. There's a plan for each of our lives. And it's probably a good thing that we can't see that far ahead, because we might become afraid and say, I can't go through all of that. And what I had to go through to get to this level of Dr. Hunt, the many, many doors that were closed, the many hurts and the many pains and the many people that said, you can't do that. No, you're not smart enough. And had even one professor said, you'll never make it through this program. And I was like, wow. So had I known all of that, I probably would have became afraid and said, no, it's not worth it. But the dream kept pushing me so that I couldn't see the end. I just saw a little bit at a time. And even when the time I was homeless and sleeping out of my car, because I wanted to finish school, it was that desperate. I was in my last year of school and doing my student teaching, and I was homeless. And so I had to sleep in my car for a while. And the book talks about that. And I finally humbled myself and had to sleep with my brother, had to move in with him and his wife. So no, to answer your question, Kate, no, I never saw any of this. Never imagined it. Never.
Well, and I keep using this word, but it is the best word. What an inspiration. Somebody that keeps going, like you said, and you talk about it in your book, and it was worth it, right?
Oh, yes. Yes. Because now I look back at my over 30 years of educational experience as a principal, and one story that sticks with me that makes it worth it all. In one of the schools that I was mentoring really quick, there were 2 young men of the Hispanic background, and they wanted to be in the program. So I let them in the program, though the program was full. The one brother was about 10 and his younger sibling was about 6. I let him in the program because he was always fighting, the 10-year-old. He was constantly getting into trouble, constantly. Teachers couldn't do anything with him. And so those are the kind of schools that I had always. So I just sat down one day and talked to him and tried to figure out what was going on. And he wouldn't open up. So we let him in the program, and being surrounded with other boys and the love that he felt, that shell began to crack. Then I met with his mom, and I would meet with my parents all the time and said, what is going on with him? She was in my office with the two boys. She said, I'm going to share something with you, Dr. Hunt. I said, what is? She said, both of my sons have been repeatedly sexually abused by their dad, who was incarcerated. So when he came out, he would come out, sexually abuse them, and then get rearrested and go back to jail. And she said, this has been a pattern for them. That story sticks with me, and one of the reasons why I know God called me and put me on this earth to be a protector of the innocents. The innocents are these young men who are children and adolescents. They're not adults. You know, they shouldn't have to experience being abused and bullied and teased like I was. And if more men and more adults would step up and protect our children, that's our calling. And I know that's mine. So anytime I hear about anything in the news and I see these teenage boys that are going around robbing people and carjacking, the first thing that goes to my mind, Kate, is where is their mentor? Who's spoken to their life? Who's there to guide them the right way, to let them know there's a better way? You don't have to do this. And so that's my passion.
You are an inspiration. I've used that word so much, and you truly are. You own that word. Protector of the innocent, Dr. Clifton Hunt. Get this book, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, Kay, so much for having me. It's been my pleasure being with you.